My name is Tony Wilson, and what I'm going to try and show you is how to plot and plan a story in a short space of time. I'm not saying that this is the only way that you can plot and plan a story, but it's something that I've used when I was a teacher and it does work. Quite often it's the fact that there is a blank sheet of paper that tends to put children off, that they've no idea what it is to put in the story. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do this in two parts. If you look at the other DVD that I have on YouTube, which is called A Practical Guide to Creative Writing, it explains about answering the 5 W's and use of adjectives and a lot of other things beside. What we're going to do is we're going to look at a story, but first of all, let's give ourselves a character. So what you can do is you put a drawing of the character in the middle here. If nothing else, this reinforces what the character is going to look like, and it establishes a lot of things about the character, because you'll find that sometimes children may not understand that in the Great Fire of London children didn't wear hoodies and t-shirts. So it gives you a chance to work as a class to describe a character that you're going to have in your story. And on this side you'll put all of the external characteristics. And you might as well at this early stage start putting some kind of rules in, say that you can only use an adjective once, because otherwise it winds up being big, 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 and long, 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 and not all colour. Okay, so it's use of adjectives, and it's also about the internal characteristics of this person. But let's do the external first. Since I don't have a class here, you'll just have to put up with me making up a story. And since the current topic of the class that I'm working with at this moment is about the Great Fire of London, then we'll do a boy. Okay, so from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, and at this side, in the same place as you have the drawing, you'll write the words that describe them. Because what happens is, this is a usable plan for a story, because you've divided it into 3, and the children can look at it as they use it. Because if they've done it on a sheet of A4 paper with those folds in, then it can stand on their tables and they can use it, and on the other side, when we come to the second part of this, they can use the other side. So as they are writing, they have their vocabulary and dictionary in front of them. I've got to tell you about this, that the only thing that changes with this, right from using it with reception and very young children, right up to using it with year 10s, is that it's the vocabulary that you actually use and the detail that goes into it. So let's draw a picture of a boy. So we'll say that he had short hair. So short hair. He had bright eyes. So if I write on here, short. I don't need to write everything on here, just the words that will help me, because that's the other thing that happens with a plan, that it winds up being the story written out and then written out again. Well, this is purely and simply a series of words. So short, and we'll say straight. Short, straight hair. And if you look, you can see that short and straight are written beside his hair. He's got bright eyes. And he's going to have an ordinary shaped nose, not the way that a lot of children do, where they're obsessed with the idea of it being a foot long. We'll give him a straight mouth, so we've no idea whether he's happy or sad. Okay, there's this boy. So, oh, we've already used straight, so we'll put in unsmiling. There's no reason why we have to use over and over and over again the same words. That's the beauty of the English language, of any language, that you use as many as you possibly can. So short, straight hair, bright eyes, unsmiling mouth. He's going to be wearing a ragged shirt. Now, it's not going to have buttons. It would be tied probably with a lace, because here, if you think about the 17th century, let's make it so that it's straight down, almost like a kind of a smock. This is, so it's going to be a dirty, I'm going to say a dirty shirt, and he's going to have strong hands. I'm doing this really quickly. You would be questioning the children all of the time. Dirty shirt, strong hands, so 1, 2, 5, here he is with his strong hands. even with these few characteristics, you're starting to think about how are we going to say about this boy. He's got a dirty shirt, so we must do something that's putting the dirt onto his clothes. He's got strong hands, so he'll be involved with some kind of work. Okay, you would have trousers, but let's say that the trousers that have once been long, but now they're ragged and they're being torn. Got that? Yeah. So ragged and torn trousers at the same place as the, and he's going to have, let's say, bare feet. Okay, so here we go, something bare feet, like this. You're going to feel better about your own drawing once you've seen this, okay? And bare feet. In a short space of time, through questioning, you can get a character to go into your story. Short hair, bright eyes, unsmiling mouth, dirty shirt, strong hands, ragged torn trousers, and bare feet. But that's quite good if it's only the external characteristics. But one of the things that you can do, especially with older children, is introduce the internal characteristics of this character. Okay, so let's say that he would be lazy if he had the chance. We could say that he was generous, but he's got nothing. Again, this would all be developed through questioning. What kind of a boy is he? What is he wearing? What do his clothes look like? What kind of a person is he, and why is he in that place? So here we say that he's lazy, that he's generous, but he doesn't have anything. Okay, what else? Well, that's a positive characteristic, and this one's a negative characteristic, so it depends on how the children generate this person. Remember, they're not trying to rewrite a soap or make it so that it's a High School Musical, The Great Fire of London years. So here he is, lazy, generous, likes to dance. Something that you wouldn't be able to see on the outside and you wouldn't expect. What kind of food does he like? He likes to eat fish. Okay? And how does he get the fish? Because he likes to go fishing. Remember, this doesn't have to be a reworking of Shakespeare. Top and bottom of it is, you're trying to generate a character in a short space of time, not too many notes, but notes that can be used. So here's lazy, generous, likes to dance, likes eating fish, likes going fishing. What kind of work does he do? Okay, well, I mean, he could go down the obvious route with the Great Fire of London and say that he was a baker's assistant. But let's say he carries things, or he transports things. So we're going to say that he's like a costermonger, a barrow boy, sorry. Yes, so a barrow boy. And he sells, well, let's say he would like to sell fish, but he has to sell vegetables. Vegetables that have been grown outside of the great city of London. So here you have this character, all right? And instead of saying, there was a boy, we now have, he stood there by the edge of the market and he pulled his hands through his short straight hair and looked all around him. His eyes were bright and open, but he was not smiling. If he'd had the chance, he would have been a lazy boy who would not have worked. But with his strong hands, he would work in the market, picking up all of the vegetables. He had to put them on the barrow to sell for all of the people who had more money than he would ever have had in all of his life. What he really wanted to do was go fishing. He loved the fact that he could just sit by the side of the cool, calm, clear Thames and catch fish that he would eat. In and around the market, he could see the other boys, the boys who worked on the fish stall. And really, that was why he couldn't bring himself to smile. He had to pull his hands through all of the different vegetables, the carrots, the potatoes, when really he would have loved to have held silver fish in his hands. The sun might have been bright, but the ground was cold on his feet, his bare feet, as he stood there in the crowded marketplace.